we're in the sauna here, and we're not going to actually do sauna procedures right now. We're going to do an interview, which is going to be really interesting because we have two people here that have survived our 21-day terrain modification. I call it the retreat. Well, you can call it that, but it's a vacation for yourself, okay, in way more ways than one. So we have Shanti. Okay, I keep getting that confused. In Malta, we have a drink called a Shanti, and it's ginger ale, okay, and beer, and that's a Shanti. That's I used to hear that all the time when I was a child. And we have Erik, the man here, okay, who has come here when we talk just in a short time. All of a sudden, you're a man, but you got something that sometimes women get. These guys are two courageous, I call them warriors. Why? It's because they're actually going outside the box. Outside the box. We're going to go to Shanti first. Now I got you because it's the Maltese drink. We're going to Shanti here, and Shanti has a real flowerful meaning. She has an expanding life because she's not 20. I mean, she's got a lot of experience there. And the older you get, especially if you've been online a little bit as far as trying to find truths and wanting to go ahead and learn about healing and just a lot of different pieces, you start to accumulate a lot. And this woman here's got a lot of good stuff in her head. So this is Shanti. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I'm starting a whole new life, and this is a perfect way to do it. I used to live in Hawaii, and I've been always drawn here. And I've been following Dr. Cassar for quite a few years, probably since 2007, 2006, okay. And adding more and more of the terrain modification.
So you've seen me change from my older videos to now my long hair, and yeah, we're all on this evolution trip together, guys. I'm not an authority, just remember, I'm just sharing. And that's what I've been getting into these two guys here, because they got lots to share now, because they've actually broken some boundaries that a lot of people need to see, that people are doing alternative ways, okay? Not only when you're sick, but if you're smart before you get sick. And everybody's sort of sick a little bit, but let's hear Shanti's story here, because again, everyone's got a good story here, and the whole idea is, how can you go ahead and change your story? Because you know you don't like it, or in time, you're going to have to change it, whether you like it or not, so you better be smart, okay? And learn from people that have actually changed their ways. No matter if they got sick, because we have people that come here that are just optimizers, people that have nothing wrong with them and they're in the best shape in the world, okay, but what do they want to do? They want to get clear. They want to get more evolution. They want to get more awareness. They just want to really clean their body to the next layer and see where it goes. So everybody's on their own layer, and Shanti's she did her courageous water fast. Tell us about that and everything.
Well, I did 18 days. I was shooting for 21, but all the signs of my body was ready to come back started happening. And so I go ahead and stop at 18, but I feel really, I mean, I could have, if it was just hunger, I could have gone on for another 20. I had no hunger. But
why'd you want to do the 18? I mean, why'd you want to do water fasting anyways?
Well, the last few years, my mom and I were using a lot of your techniques, and I was trying to help her with her severe health problems, and I was, but I failed to take care of myself during that time. Mm-hmm. Instead of, doing all the procedures and everything for me and bringing her along, I was giving it to her.
It was taken from you.
Yes, and so I eventually developed uterine cancer. And Mom passed away a year and a half ago, and I found out about the cancer a few months later, and I really didn't want to go on, and I certainly didn't want to die in a hospital situation, because that's kind of what takes a lot of people out, especially when you're old and you're heavy. I was 330 pounds.
No way.
330 pounds.
And what do you weigh right now?
170.
330?
Yeah.
Guys, do you even know what that means? Yeah. If I gain 10 pounds, 15 pounds, I can't even do a pull-up. Okay? I couldn't imagine. So you've lost 170, 270, 150 pounds?
Yeah, a person.
That's even two kids. Okay? Wow. So, I'm 135 pounds now. So Yeah, that's a lot of...
So more than you I've lost.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of... And that's hard for people to grasp. And how did you even lose it? Just by bending your diet? Did you change a lot of other things too? Or what? Because your story, remember, is interesting. There's a lot of obese people in the United States. Remember, 33% or so of the United States is obese. That means you're over 30 pounds plus overweight or toxic. Okay, and it could be toxic in your brain, toxic in your body, toxic in your mind, lots of stuff, or all the above. But
well, and I had also had a quite severe chemical injury. I had been drinking well water that was poisoned with crack lab chemicals. Okay. I drank it for 1.5 years and became bedridden. I mean, I couldn't hold food down, but I was gaining weight at a very accelerated pace. So on that poisoning, that's where all the weight came when I had that poisoning, because it just shunted it out to fat to try to protect my organs. Yep. So losing it was not easy because I couldn't go raw and stuff because I'd start detoxing so horrible. Okay. So I'd end up in the hospital, organs shutting down and stuff. So, as I got cleaner, slowly adding liquids of vitality, getting the sauna, different, aspects of what you've been teaching. And, I just started slowly losing. I think, the bulk of it was last May. I kind of got kicked in the butt by, I feel like it was Mom from above. He said, no, take it serious.
That's right.
Get busy. So I really started deeply doing all of the train modification and the saunas every day, 2 to 3 colonics a week for all summer.
Nice.
And
really, and you're doing this on your own, right?
Yeah.
You're self doctoring.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you lost 150 pounds? You started when though? When was the year you started?
Well, I would say probably about 70 of it was over the couple years before, but from May I lost 90 pounds when I got here.
And specifically, how'd you do that? Drinking more liquids, eating more food, eating less food?
Well, I did the intermittent fasting. I didn't eat till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, other than the liquids, and I did the saunas every day. Nice. And just eating as much raw food as possible. I went through a period of bone broth to try to get my digestive system, back
and that works
online.
good, guys. So don't balk at that. The bone broth does heal.
Tons of ferments. I mean, tons of liquid ferments and vegetable ferments and stuff. So I got deep into that. Okay. And so over the summer, 2i Garden, I've been growing my own food for 5 years. So
listen to her, okay? When you wake up, you start wanting to go ahead and actually get not even live food, real food, because you know how you did it.
Yeah. So, all that combined really kind of kicked it into high gear, and then deciding to come here was like, okay, I'm ready for the next level.
Did your family think you're sort of weird coming over here? Remember, you're on vacation. You just dry water fasted for 18 days. You had somebody put hoses where most people wouldn't even talk about, colon hydrotherapy. Did you kick out any parasites?
Yeah. I had two rope ones this big, and lots of small ones. And I think at the very end, after I finished the fast, the first thing that came out of me was this strange poop-covered creature that looked like as if you took bunches of sunflower sprouts and covered them in fiber and then poop. I think it was a more mature rope parasite, that had...
You got it. So, guys, what she's saying, you know what? And she's got many more parasites to come. I thought that I was finished with parasites because I used to kill parasites. She's not killing them. She's drying them out. She's drying them down, not feeding them. Took you 3 days to get into this session called ketosis. And then you go through turbulence because everybody's not getting fed. There's no glucose, there's no food. There's just water, as much as you can drink. And then after 3 days, okay, it was sort of easy, wasn't it? For you? Mm-hmm. I mean, was it...
No, that was not hard. Just I slept more.
A juice fast is harder because you're hungry all the time.
Right.
Okay, so did you feel the first few days were tough on you? Just for people, remember, I want you to try, at least a day fast, guys, if you can. Okay? But remember, she did 18, so you can learn some things from her. Okay, can be done. And then you're going to see this guy next door to me here, okay? You did what, 14?
10.
Or 10. Okay, anybody that can do 7 days, let me tell you, disconnects a big layer. So, keep on talking about, we stopped out at parasites. Remember, she did massage, far infrared sauna, doing IV therapies to see if we can soften up some of the accumulated debris, all different types of therapies that you actually inject into the arm, and you gotta sort of watch this bag go drip, drip, drip. Did you feel anything that you did was really negative here? As far as you know, your body really fight back on anything?
Well, on the 4th to 7th day, I had 3 nights where in any sitting position I was fine, but if I would lay down, my hips and back was just agony. I could not sleep at all.
Deep ache.
Just a terrible ache in both hip joints and the back. And so for 3 days I could barely get much sleep, but I tried the little coconut oil in the mouth, and that would allow me to get a couple hours sleep after when I'd have a spoon of that. So that was my only rough period. Once I got through that, then I had no hunger. I had good energy. I felt weaker than I normally am. I didn't have the stamina, but I really felt clear and
disconnected.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. So what she's saying is that, doing the fasting, you're trying to just stay in what's called ketosis, where your body's eating itself up and it's making ketones. Your brain loves them, okay? You need to change fuel sources, though, because it's used to eating sugar and oils or whatever it can go ahead and process, alcohol, whatever it is, okay? Processed foods, whatever it is. But when you don't feed it, remember, everybody that's getting fed off all that stuff actually has, I call a shite fit. Why? Because they can't poop anymore because there's no more fuel. And what I see in her hips, I've seen this so many times with so many different groups coming up here, is that she had a colony collapse in her hips. She had a huge colony of stuff that just can't live unless there's food. And some of these microbes, remember, these are weird microbes, like you said, that you came out, it's like the alien. Okay, some of these microbes are actually just in the body. You know what they do? Just like cockroaches, okay? Just like a lot of beetles, like crabs, lobsters. And what are those? They're poop eaters, okay? The body's getting assaulted by all these different creatures that poop in the body. Don't you think that she would be dead? Of course she would be, if they didn't have a set of creatures, just like in the natural world. There's a set of microbes in here, so I don't kill anything. A lot of people kill the lower level microbes, which actually are eating some of the poop of the bigger ones. So everything's got this layer. Remember, a lot of the microbes drink blood. Okay, those are the tapeworms. And she saw some pieces of whatever it was. Rope tapeworm, could have been the beef tapeworm, the fish tapeworm, okay? The pork tapeworm. These are all very common. And I could say this, I'm just telling you. I don't think anybody that I've met doesn't have one of those species or all of them. And you don't even have to eat meat, but if you did, most likely you have it for sure. Okay, and how do you get it out? You don't kill it. Remember, you got to dry it out. So you did colon hydrotherapy in the beginning. Remember, she didn't have any food. So what's coming out is pho. It's pho, no food. Did you do a pre-diet before this at all? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you have any meat before at all? When's the last time you had meat?
Well, I did. I had some, probably about 3 weeks or so before we got here.
What did you have?
Grass-fed beef.
Okay. Did you normally have beef, though? Normally have flesh of any type, fish, even scallops?
Well, since May, I would say about every 3 weeks or so. And after I found the creatine, I didn't have to have that as much.
You felt like you were weak.
After about 3 weeks, I would just crave it so bad. So I generally give in and have some grass-fed something, But then once I started the creatine, I didn't have that deep craving for it as much.
You got to replace it with doing some eggs. Fertile eggs and very little cooked. Okay, and what she's talking about is that, she's disconnected herself right now, just like Erik has too, in many ways. Blood parasites, okay, they're sucking off her blood. She's getting weak. It's because she's not putting blood back in. She's not putting flesh back in. Not putting all this brain chemical stuff back in. That's why her brain's sort of clean. And if we did her chemistry on parasite poop, which I believe is this enzyme called nagalase, and right now her nagalase enzyme levels or parasite poop, okay, is at a lower level. Why? Because their parasites haven't had any food. And once they're dried out for a certain amount of time, lots of people usually about the 11th day, sometimes people will throw up and they'll feel terrible. It's because they had colony collapse, and what dies has to come out very quickly. Or some people will have rashes that come out of their body. Big ones I've seen on young people too. I mean, big ugly ones that just pus and everything and come out. So, the idea is that everybody's got to go through their own journey. And to me, she had like colony collapse in her hips where a lot of these, wipe your sweat up, just your face. You want to keep it dripping good. Yeah. Because we're going to use the sweat in part 2 as the sweat sort of softens you up a little bit. You sweat a little bit, then you absorb a little bit. Sort of keeps you lubricated. Now you can see just real quick here. Look, okay, been in here about 18 minutes. Okay, I got a river going down me. Okay, and going to Shanti. I see some moisture right here.
Just some little.
I see some moisture. I dripped some sweat on you. Okay, but let's look at your neck. It's the first thing. So you can see her skin's plugged. Okay, so that's one of the things she's going to work on, which is really simple to unplug. You know what it takes? Got to learn the protocols. I don't know if you just wiped yourself or anything.
Yeah, I've been wiping myself.
And he's sweating a little bit there, but I want to see, look, even if I wipe myself off, okay, watch. I'm rubber sweating. It's just going to come right out again in 2 minutes. I want to be just as soaked, okay? So, when
I first started doing the sauna, it would take me an hour just to break a sweat.
This is what I was going to say.
And now, this is...
It used to take me 20 minutes to get to her to get one drop, just so you know, okay? I sweat really quick now. You know why? Because my pores are open. You can see through my skin. What comes out of me now, and you have to be more careful. You're in the sauna and you don't sweat too much, which means you got to keep on drinking them, both of you guys, no matter what. Try to drink like a couple sips every couple minutes. But the idea is that if you sweat in here, okay, and your pores are open and you don't go in with water and you don't drink water while you're in here, you could die in here. Okay, and the people that really don't die in the sauna are people overweight. Why? Because they're not sweating. Okay, and I've seen lots of people not even overweight, they still don't sweat. Okay, if the skin's pores are plugged, they're not going to go ahead and they're not going to perspire. Remember, you're urinating through your skin right now. This is very important for people to know. So in order to get toxicity out of you, you urinate, don't you? You go poopy, okay? But the best way, remember, your skin's the largest organ of your body, and actually look at it as your third kidney. So your third kidney would be very smart, okay, because your filters are your kidneys. And you know now your skin is the biggest filter you got. And if it can't perspire, if it can't let out its poisons, okay, of course you don't put them back in. And what do you need to perspire? You need liquids. This is blue-green algae. Okay, it's got a little crystal at the bottom, magnesium, minerals, and silica. That's it. But the idea with everybody here, okay, look, you can actually really heal yourself in many different ways. All you have to do is get things to move. Okay, so everybody's learning everything. I learn things from people. They learn things back from me. Okay, we're here to share. So, again, you should learn the skin cleaning protocols. You don't have to change your diet. You start unloading toxicity, at least. That's pretty good. Okay, start adding some minerals back to your water. Okay, you don't have to change your diet. Okay, get away from things that are really poisoning you. But you're gonna have to do watch documentaries. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you why, because there's lots of documentaries that you've seen that have opened your eyes up, haven't they? You think that helps people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without them, then what are you doing? You're reading an article here and there, but once you see the truth and you see some other doctors and different people, you say, okay, I'm going to navigate that. So all she's doing, just like I'm doing, just like Erik, we're all navigating. So now you had ovarian so-called cancer. She's not here treating cancer, as we're going to find out here too. Okay, people are terrain modifying.
Right.
You're just optimizing, enhancing, and upgrading departments here. We're not treating disease, never have. Okay, you can try treating yours. By the way, they want you to treat them. They look in the book. What do they want to do with you? Cut, burn, or poison, or all three. That's the only choice. Okay, so remember, before you get sick, okay, gotta be smart. Gotta put your critical thinking cap on. And notice that most of the population, remember, is obese. Most of the population, remember, is sick. 100 million diabetics in the United States. Most of the population, a lot of them are taking Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, antidepressants. A lot of sick people in the head too. Okay, so the only way you're going to get some of your, like I said, your sanity is real simple. Okay, start out slow, but look at these people here, okay, as inspiration. You're going to see. Remember, they've already jumped ahead. They're already ahead of the game. Even if someone said they're sick, we're going to find out both sides. Either people are sick or they're healthy and they want to just get better, okay, or just people want to just do it called a tune-up. There's nothing wrong. They're just logical. They just want to come and or do this yourself. Intermittent fasting, like she said. Probably the most important thing that both you guys could, to say here is that just following some of these protocols, and they're not just, forgive me, Okay, guys, I'm just here to show you some stuff. But you've experienced lots of things, okay? And you know that there are certain layers that people need to engage. If not, they can't engage. They can't change their food too easy. Okay, they can't do a lot of stuff. Okay, so just because you told me about the red meat real quick here, and we're gonna jump over to Erik here. Gonna tell us a great story. I would refrain, both you guys, from having any flesh. Flesh is full of parasites. Even if it's grass-fed right now, it's going to feed the parasites that you already got.
Right.
Okay, so even though it's grass-fed, that's way better. Okay, but if you want to really dry out the blood-sucking microbes, and you need to go ahead and take also, I would suggest making sure you take like 10,000 units of vitamin D3. Okay, get out in the sun as much as you can, especially in the private parts, and try to limit your meals down to a 2 times a day or once a day, and have a plethora of liquids throughout the day. But stop your red meat and then replace that with hemp seeds. Replace it with proteins: chlorella, spirulina, blue grain, eggs, raw fertile eggs. Get your own chickens. If not, and make sure you go to a farmer that you can. And you're not killing anything by eating the chickens, guys. Okay. So I just did a video on that. So I'm sorry, vegans. As long as the protoplasmic egg hasn't made a heart yet, there's no creature there. It's just protoplasm, and you're just eating energy. Okay, so I don't eat things with blood, and I don't kill creatures. I just don't. I don't need to. So what a relief. So before we switch over to Erik, because these guys have lots of story to tell, let me tell you. Okay, and you guys are staying here on the island another week because you want to move back, don't you?
I'm staying until May.
Okay, and why's that?
I'm just looking for where I'm supposed to be. I'm looking for the people that I need to connect with and the place where I need to land. I know it's here, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And this is one of the big problems, guys, when you do come up. A lot of times when you go home, it's not going to make as much sense as it did when you left. And you're going to see a lot of insanity, and you're just not going to feel too good, at least like you used to when you came from a place that's really pure here, isn't it? Mm. It is.
Mm-hmm. Especially this side of the island.
Yeah, all Hawaii is not pure. Honolulu is not pure. It's got a lot of toxicity, not only the people. Okay, there's a lot of just 1 million people in this little spot. Big Island has 150,000 people, and there are special places to live here. Kona's got a lot of fog from the volcano, very, very bad. Okay, so let's say you're into health and you're living in Kona, that's not so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I live in the Hamakua coast here. They call that God's breath because that's what Hamakua means, God's breath. And it's the cleanest air in the world. They say they've measured it all different places because it's got such an amount of oxygen with where we are here because of the rivers that come off the mountain here, the waterfalls, and then the saltwater ions meet together, and it makes this beautiful, really, not only energy, but it makes you feel good. It makes you really...
I think the air here is just like...
there we go.
The air here is like medicine. Just going outside and deep breathing is like just...
and what's the sun? Pleasure. What a vacation, huh? Take your clothes off in the sun.
Yeah.
Between the lychee trees. He's on his own, don't worry.
Yeah, the air, I mean, when you breathe the air, you can just tell immediately. I remember when I got off the plane in Hilo, the air quality was... I noticed that immediately.
And even though you were breathing fumes from the plane still, notice it's still charged.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just an amazing thing to breathe clean air, and we should take... You can't take... A lot of people can't take that for granted because the air is not clean. A lot of people. I live in a house on a corner where there's traffic going by 24 hours a day.
What state?
In Michigan.
Okay.
And
lots of people there.
Yeah, lots of people, and I live on a busy corner, and I didn't realize...
Beep, 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 a lot of noise. And
you can hear the bass, and people when their stereos are on. Even
you're in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much pollution you're getting coming in through the house.
And you're living in an apartment, you said, right?
No, I live in a house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're in the net of Wi-Fi, super Wi-Fi, all the radio frequencies, everybody. It's probably 1 million people. I don't know, I'm in that city, but I'm sure it's a big city.
If I turn the computer on, I can see 10 networks that are strong.
There you go. So you never can get out of it. And these are things, what'll happen is, guys, everybody's going to have to find their own negotiation. And one of the ones that's hidden and invisible, because you may have a good diet and everything, is a lot of these radio frequencies, okay? Smart meters, smartphones, okay? A lot of smart stuff, but they're not that smart if you hang around them too much. and you never get a chance to reset yourself. So I know when you guys go back, for 2 weeks, you're going to be able to see sort of a lot of weirdness that you were swimming in before. And for 2 weeks, you're going to say, I don't know, man. This doesn't make sense. And everybody running around trying to make what? The money. Okay, we're not learning how to make food. We're not really learning how to take care of each other. You live in the city. There's not that many birds there except for pigeons and crows, maybe. You know? So, and you're in Michigan, you know, and all the cities are the same, no matter where you go. San Francisco, Los Angeles, some are busier, some are less, but definitely all the cities have an invisible, I call the frequency net, that if you can't get out of it, it is a sort of a slow killer. It makes you so. When I go to LA, I don't even want to work out. I feel like I'm on sedation, like I'm on some weird boat, and just I feel lethargic. I don't sleep well.
Yeah, that's got me a little concerned because I'm going to LA from Hawaii here for a couple of weeks.
Well, you'll be able to feel this.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the air quality here, I'm sure.
Tell us about your story.
Well, I thought it was I work in a health food store, so I thought I was under the delusion that I was healthy.
You worked in the healthier food store.
Yeah, healthier. Yeah, that's true.
This is healthier food.
We have aisles of junk food even in the health food store. But I got a wake-up call about 2.5 years ago. Well, the wake-up call was actually 1.5 years ago, but I was taking a shower one day, and I didn't know I had any health issues at all. I was generally quite healthy, although I had kind of stopped exercising on a regular basis. You know, you miss one day, then you miss 2 days, then you miss a week, then you miss 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And pretty soon you're not working out at all, except for maybe walking the dog. Thank God for my dog, because other than that I wouldn't be walking probably even at all. But I have a dog that's got to be walked regularly, so I at least was walking probably a half an hour to 45 minutes pretty consistently, you know, for the last 5-6 years. But I thought I was completely healthy, and I was taking a shower one day, and I noticed, well, you can see here on the camera, I noticed just a small, underneath the nipple, I noticed a little small hard spot. Yeah, it looked nothing like this now. Now it's like full. I mean, it looked just like this, except it had a little bit. It was a little bit of hard underneath right underneath the nipple. And I thought nothing of it. I thought maybe it was a cyst, or I thought maybe it was like a fatty tumor or a protein tumor.
Yeah, just had sort of like a lump in your nipple. Somewhere.
Yeah, and I rubbed it. It was sensitive when I would wash the area, and it would be sensitive for an hour or two after I showered, because I usually shower with baking soda and body soap.
Okay.
Just to give a good cleansing scrub, and it would.
You feel it.
I would feel it. It wouldn't hurt.
It's
really,
sensitive.
it would just be sensitive, right? And
okay. So it wasn't alarming to you too much.
No, it wasn't alarming at all. No, for the first year it wasn't alarming. Although it did get larger. It got larger so slowly and so gradually that I didn't really, unfortunately. Being a guy, and I the first thing in my mind was, that there's a problem with the breast, because you don't think of guys having a problem with the breast.
No. Not at all. That's the story of women. Guys get prostate stuff.
Right, yeah.
Women get the booby stuff.
Right. And I knew my relatives had cancer, but I never, unfortunately, I wasn't real close to my relatives, and I didn't know what kind of cancer they had, and I found out later that most of them, including 2 uncles, had similar tumor. I didn't know that, so I wasn't worried. It wasn't until a friend of mine who's a nurse, I showed it to her just because it kept getting bigger and bigger. Although still wasn't big. It was nothing like this.
It was just more a lump. The skin was still good.
The skin was still good. Even the nipple looked normal.
Okay.
Although it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It still, if you just looked at it, it looked normal. But
and just so real quick, a lot of men get this. It's called gynecomastia. It's because of hormones and stuff, and they get hard one side. So it gets like a nipple. 2 out of 5 men, supposedly, quite a bit. I had it when I was a kid, gynecomastia, and I went to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, you got gynecomastia." I'm thinking, "What's that?" And they said that your body was making too many of the wrong hormones, and you're starting to bud like a girl. So a lot of guys get that. And a lot of bodybuilders that take steroids, okay, you'll notice when they stop taking the steroids, not only, remember, their body was taking synthetic hormones in, but could cut off their natural ones. So their testes shrank up, their whole system shrank down because it's had all the synthetic, the other side. So what happens is once they stop taking the hormones, then the only one that's there is a female hormone, and it makes them get gynecomastia. I know so many bodybuilder friends, and they've even had surgery to get that out, but they thought they had breast cancer too.
Oh.
Yeah. So just to let everybody know, guys, okay, guys get a lot of this stuff, and you're not here treating your cancer. You're here to terrain modify, just to make sure everybody knows, because we have 2 people here that have the so-called disease. Okay. Disease. And you guys are doing an alternative approach, but you've been told before that you may not even live so many months, right? You got that.
Right.
Continue with your story.
Yeah.
You've got a great story for people.
And well, it wasn't until I spoke to my friend who's a nurse that she was much more concerned than I was, and I still wasn't concerned. And she said, you should go to the doctor. Should have the doctor look at it. And I said, no, I don't. You know, I've been to the doctor in like 10 years. I'm healthy. I just don't have anything to worry about. Well, she begged me for the course of weeks, and she actually made an appointment with her doctor without telling me, and sort of sprung it on me to go to the doctor.
Okay.
Well,
because you needed to.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Just check it.
Right. Yeah, because I wasn't treating
You weren't sick, though. You didn't feel bad. All of a sudden, you
No,
just had
I felt fine.
Yeah, you had this like sort of like mind. What is that?
Yeah, but I wasn't even taking any invasive action, you know, which is bad, you know. I wasn't changing my diet. It wasn't.
And how many months was it before you saw the doctor, though?
Probably a month after her nagging.
But you noticed it a year and a half before.
A year. Yeah, you good year
so
before.
Remember this.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of times, guys. Remember, everything's slow. Okay?
Yeah,
And
it was slow,
and it goes through stages.
Coming.
So learn from this guy here, okay?
And then, so I went to the doctor. Doctor literally took one look at it for a second. He goes, "Okay, all right, well, we're done here." I'm like, "Really? Don't you want to check my lymph nodes?
Touch me or something?"
Yeah, this is $150.
Please touch me, man. I'll get my money's worth.
Yeah. Just take my blood. Well, they took my blood pressure and my weight, but other than that.
Well, no, the nurse did.
The nurse did that. Yeah, he didn't do that.
Yeah, he didn't touch it.
He didn't even take my blood. He didn't even take my heart rate or nothing. He didn't get the stethoscope out even. So, and he said, "Okay, well, we'll make an appointment for you with Dr. So-and-so." And then I asked the nurse when to make the appointment. She goes, "Oh, that's an oncologist." So I thought, okay, well, this guy thinks it's, there's just a cancerous lump here. So then I was, my heart was racing at that point.
Yeah, they got the big C word in there.
Yeah.
And you should be concerned, guys, because the big C, if you follow through with a lot of times traditional therapies, you're gonna go through.
Yeah, and I had seen what some of my family members who did all the treatment, and they did not have good outcomes. Mm-mm. So
some do.
Some had good outcomes, but the two that did all the cut, burn, and poison and did not change their diet, they did not do well.
No.
In fact, the doctor said it doesn't matter what you eat, and I had one relative who one of her favorite foods was to like ice cream sandwiches throughout the whole thing.
Just so you guys get the connection, ice cream sandwich is pure glucose. Okay, sucrose, doesn't matter. Honey, sugar.
Dairy's bad too, I think, with all the hormones.
All the hormones.
I mean, think about it.
And it's all sugar milk.
Is, lactations from a cow, and this is a breast, and it's cancerous.
Especially with RSBT, especially pasteurizing it. The only reason you'd have milk, okay, if you're smart, is to culture it. So you could make it turn into mega bacteria, because that's why you drink it, because it heals your stomach, or it keeps your stomach good, because those bacteria are good. But once you kill them, it's just like dead snot. It's like, why would you do that? Plus, remember, you should see the hormones, vaccines and antibiotics. They put in every cow, every chicken, even fish. It's in their food. Okay, so you eat all this stuff, and this is what happens a lot of times. There's tons of hormones and stuff. Let me tell you, this hasn't happened in a couple of years. Okay, you've been eating food probably with hormones in it and different things.
Yeah.
Like I have.
I mean, until I was 40, my favorite food was, Little Debbie snack cake.
I haven't heard of that
one. That's pretty bad. That's like bottom of the barrel.
Little Debbie.
Yeah.
How old are you now, Eric?
48.
And then how old are you, Shanti?
63.
Okay, and she said that with dignity, guys. Why? Because she's reversing her age right now, okay? And you said 43?
48.
48, excuse me.
Yeah.
It looks pretty darn good for an old man, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? No, you lost, both of you guys lost a whole sheet of another person. Even though you lost a person before you came, you lost another person too.
No, my heaviest, I was about, probably 75 pounds heavier than I am now.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to have your pictures before and after, both you guys. I want to see the gels.
Yeah, I can definitely show you pictures.
I want to see the gels. Did you have a beard too? Because usually when you're overweight, you get a beard because you don't want to see that third chin, you know?
Yeah, I had a goatee to distract people.
Yeah, it covers the chin. Because most people, once you lose the chin, you cut that thing off.
Yeah, double chins are running my family too, so
you haven't got one now.
No.
Where's your chin?
The weight loss has really helped taking the double chin.
Well, plus he's got the sort of like the GQ look. Yeah, he does. It looks like I told him, I said, you look like one of my friends when I was like 13 years old and we went through Altar Boy School. You look really trustworthy. Why? Because he looks clean. Not even clean shaven. He just looks clean. It looks like he takes care of himself. Looks like all of a sudden he's got a little...
Well, I thought I was taking care of myself. That's why it was such a shock to find out, well, geez, what the hell happened?
It was your wake-up call to be able to learn another layer, to maybe help other people make sure they don't have to go through this. Is because, guys, you can break this stuff down before you even...
Right, don't let it get to this.
No.
Yeah. I should have took a serious evasive action when I first found like a hard lump. I should have had it looked at, and then
so a year and a half. Then you went ahead and had everybody looked at your nurse friend, and she says you need to go to the doctor. Another month later, you went to the doctor. Then of course he said
to me that immediately made an appointment with an oncologist.
Really,
oncologist looked at it and was like,
no X-ray, no nothing.
No X-ray, no, because mine's right on the surface,
Yeah, but still, you'd want to do a lateral chest X-ray just to go ahead and see.
Oh no, I had a mammogram and an ultrasound
before.
No, right after I went to the doctor.
After, though.
After the doctor,
I'm just talking about the doctor. A lot of times, guys, just to be able to go ahead and see what certain things are, most doctors, they don't have an X-ray machine in their office. So you know what? They got to write you a script and get out of there, okay? But I guarantee you, if you had an X-ray machine, you would have got several of them. Why? Not only they make money, but he can diagnose better. They can at least go ahead, because he sent you to an oncologist. That's pretty scary on your head.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that'll get your attention. That'll get your attention. And the oncologist took one look at it and immediately... Yeah, said, well, we'll make an appointment for a biopsy and you
got your mammograph then?
Yeah, yes.
CT scan?
There was no doubt in his mind what it was.
And the mammograph, if you look it up, guys, you find out that the mammogram's now going to go ahead and radiate him and give him a whole bunch of radiation, which is actually going to go ahead and possibly, as you just look up all the studies, mammograms actually give sickness.
It was about 20. The thing like beep, did like it takes like 20, 30 pictures all at once. Just bang, 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 bang.
Squeezes your boob.
Yeah, it compresses it. Although it wasn't as bad as I thought. I actually was scared of that, but they didn't. That didn't seem to compress.
Yeah, but if you had a big breast as a woman,
they would really. Yeah, they would really be pushing it down.
That's a different story.
Right, exactly. And so well, I was scared then. So one thing I did.
So did you get medication? Did you get anything?
No.
Okay.
Now, there really wasn't medication. They wanted to cut it out. They wanted to make an appointment.
I'm just thinking for your head. Did you ask for Xanax? Or you couldn't
Oh,
sleep?
yeah. No, I asked for... I took Ambien, and on the first night, I dreamed an entire 2-hour horror movie in detail.
Wow.
And
there's Ambien.
And I woke up 2 hours later, so I thought I was dreaming all night. I woke up 2 hours later with probably the worst nightmare I'd had in 10 or 15, 20 years. And so that didn't work for me. And I took Xanax, and the Xanax made me...
Next day, feel like you're drunk.
Yeah, so I couldn't... luckily, my system just cannot do prescription stuff.
But you tried them.
I tried them, yeah. They're still in the drawer in my house.
It didn't work. Okay, and many people... Let me tell you, I won't even say who it is, because you guys know. You take Ambien every night, and you know who you are. Okay? And I'm talking to someone in my family, okay? You take it every night. Why? Because you can't sleep. And now since you've been taking it, because it did work, took a half of one, now you got to take it every night because you can't go to bed. Not only is it psychological, but your brain chemicals now are had. And look at the nightmares you have, okay? What these things do is they really disrupt your reset vehicle. Your mind needs to reset. Your body needs... If you're dreaming, running around in your brain, what do you think? You wake up and you go, jeez... I need to go sleep now just from the last sleep that I just had. Okay, so you went ahead and took some pharmaceuticals just because of mental. You couldn't maybe sleep or whatever, and plus
I just couldn't sleep.
Yeah,
I was having like panic attacks.
He wanted to cut out at that point.
Yes, I wanted to cut out.
He was really
depressed,
scared right then.
Well, I was antidepressants too.
No. I already been on that. That's how I had the weight gain. That's what caused the 75-pound weight gain.
Constantly feeding yourself, and what did you feed yourself? A lot of sugar.
Oh yeah, a lot of sugar.
Debbie, what are they called?
Little Debbie cakes.
Little Debbie cakes.
Well, not only that, but I worked at Pizza Hut and Domino's. If you add it up for 10 years, And there's only one thing they give you for free, or well, two things they give you for free at a pizza place: unlimited soda pop and unlimited pizza and breadsticks, which is, as we know, really healthy.
And if a guy ordered a pizza and he didn't accept or something, you got an extra pizza.
You got another one to take home. Yeah, exactly.
Take home.
Yeah, and you don't get paid much, so you do take it home because you can't afford to buy a lot of food, but so you do take it home and you eat it. So you become and
you're eating all the chemicals. So basically, look what he did. Not only he getting some assaults. Okay, goes to the doctor. Remember, such and such. He's taking some pharmaceuticals now because of this. That's messing up the brain. Okay, making up the brain chemicals. Can't sleep. Start taking pharmaceuticals to get residue, and they do get residue. Get stuck in your body. The more pollution you get in your body, the more your sickness progresses. Then you go ahead and start to go to the next layer. And of course, the next layers is cut, burn, or poison. What did they tell you?
They wanted to cut, burn, and poison. They wanted to get it done right away.
And how long did they say you had to live if you didn't?
Well, they said they didn't know because I hadn't done the biopsy yet, so they wanted to find out what type of cancer it was. If it was an unusual, it wasn't likely, but it's possibly a fast-growing cancer.
Okay.
So he said, I've seen it where within people literally, it grows out of control and spreads, and I've had people, you could be dead in like 15 weeks.
That's a pretty
that gets your attention.
Yeah, that's a good little scare. That'll wake you up,
a big time scare.
Yeah.
So I was running scared, and I was, for whatever reason, there was a slowdown on the appointment to get it cut out. And during that time, I literally went to the beach, fell asleep at the beach. This is true, I had a dream asleep at the beach, and that I have to go on a different path. Because I said, I want this cut out as fast as possible. I'll fly to any hospital in the world. Mm-hmm. Whoever can get it done fastest, get it cut out.
Did you have a medical background or education beforehand at all?
No.
Okay.
Not really, no.
So everything you're sort of doing right now, you have to be logical.
But I worked in health food stores, though. So, okay. I'd seen people with cancer. I've seen results people got.
So for supplements, you've known a couple things were good for this, but really you never were like you studied to be a or anywhere.
No.
Okay, so what I'm saying is...
I studied some herb classes, but other than that,
yeah, his education's limited in this sex, so don't get scared, guys, to go ahead and actually learn, okay?
No, you have to learn. The first thing I did was hours a night, reading everything I find. Probably a lot of it was not good information, but some of it was, so... And I would like to give a shout out to
The Truth About Cancer.
Yeah, The Truth About Cancer.
Ty Bollinger.
Excellent. That's an excellent film for everybody to watch twice.
Yeah. Yes, twice. 3 times.
Series, twice, 3 times.
And if nothing else, it gives you a little bit of space in your brain so you can think for a second. Because when you're running scared, you can't think.
No.
And so that opened up just enough space for me to have that dream at the beach. And I literally laid there for another couple hours on the beach towel. And when I got up off of there, by the time I got up, I thought, well, I'm not having this cut out, and I'm not going to have it. And that's just me, and everybody else has to make that decision on their own, because whatever happens, you're going to have to live with. You're going to have to live with. Nobody else. You and your family are going to have to live with. Right. So I don't have a family, and so it was an easier decision for me to make. Yeah, I have a family, but not an immediate family.
Yeah, no one telling you, and that's what they did with my family.
Well, they were all telling me, but
everybody pushed my mom into doing chemo, radiation, and surgery. And all she had was a little tiny BB in her breast. But, let's go just in case. Okay.
Yeah, this started out the size of an almond.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it started.
Okay, so keep going.
It was like by the time I went to the doctor, it was about the size of a walnut half. Okay. By the time the doctor felt it. And,
sore when you pushed it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Surprisingly enough, it's not real sore. So it's easy to not take it serious because it's not real sore. So then actually, after I had that revelation that I was not going to have, I canceled all the appointments. They kept calling back from the doctor's office for the regular doctor's office, not because I actually wanted to get the surgery scheduled. But there was a glitch there. I think something in the universe stopped them from calling me, because at that time, if I hadn't opened up that space in my mind and the time space, I would have, if they'd have called right away, I'd have been in the car driving to get the surgery, to get it cut out. But some people maybe should have a cutout, because I had 2 uncles that had a cutout.
And that's the way you're supposed to go, because that's the way everybody wants to go, and if you want to live. But they only use, just so you know, guys, and you had to make the same decision. So both of you guys are pretty deep, critical thinkers. If they mostly will show you the 2-year survival rate of most of these cancers that are treated Western cut, burn, poison. Okay, but you really want to look at the 5-year. Okay, and you'll find out the 5-year is not so good. And if they showed that, well, I'm not sure if you'd want to do that because the odds are not great.
Yeah, I will say that both my uncles had it taken out, and they both had limited chemo. The one had about 2 treatments, the other one had about 6, and they did not die from breast cancer. So the one did die from prostate cancer about 10 years later.
Well, this is what happens, guys. Just because you beat up one little colonization of parasites, because I look at these as big tumors, colonies of creatures, okay? And the more they grow is depending on a lot of things, toxicity, dehydration, demineralization, not getting sun, whatever it is. There's a lot of different departments in terrain modification. But, you know, the big, shoot, I was going to say something now, I forgot. What was I just saying?
Well,
what were we just talking about?
A choice to do surgery or not to do.
Yeah, about it coming back. I mean, it's coming back in other form. So if you get it cut out.
Well, this is what it is. Thank you for reminding me. You get all this treatment and such, and all of a sudden you don't have what you had anymore. Okay, but guess what? Your body's weak, immune system is weak. No one told you to rebuild your gut wall flora. No one told you to be able to get on a detox diet now to get all the accumulated poisons. That's why you got sick. Open up your skin, let it all out. Change your diet. Get off GMOs. Get the mercury fillings and all the different corruption in your mouth out of your system. Change your personal care products. I mean, all these things. So what happens is if you don't, you know what you get? You eat the same food you ate before. Oh, the doctor says what? You don't have to change your diet.
Yeah, he didn't. I didn't mention it.
Okay. So then what happens is you get sick from something else. Remember, the reason being, if you look at the 5-year, okay, it's not that you die. We're not looking at if you died of the same thing you came in. I want to just see if you're alive. Okay, there's different statistics here. People say, oh, you died of brain cancer, but you came in with breast cancer, and you lived 4 years. Okay, they look at it as you didn't die because of the breast cancer a lot of times. So, guys, you got to really wake up. Okay, and the idea to doing these videos is to inspire yourself to maintain yourself. And once you get the sickness, it messes up your head. Someone told him he had the sickness, which is usually incurable, and you got to go through what everybody does: lose their hair, go through submission of all these weird treatments that you have no idea that are right or wrong because there's so much stuff on the internet, good and bad. So you better take care of your health, guys, and become your own doctors, and you know, really learn from people that have had certain things pointed at them, like disease. You have this, okay? So, and he's been doing a lot of topical stuff and a lot of different stuff, but go ahead and finish your story. Remember, you do have the power to change yourself when you're not sick. Once you're sick, you got to have superpower to be able to just bend the other side, just to be able to see another side of possibilities. That's why I watched that movie, The Cure Ties.
Oh, yes, Truth About Cancer. Yeah, he has a whole. I mean, there's many hours now, and it's updated. And
watch it. Remember, the doctor's on oncology. He'll tell you they get paid money for prescribing oncology. That's pretty cool. I get a commission for actually my drugs that I prescribe, and they find out that a lot of doctors are prescribing stuff. Why? It's because it's good business. Okay, so not everybody, but then again, guys, remember, once you get sick, you're in the web. Better figure it out, just like you guys had to do. And you're digging deep. You're miners right now. You're digging
luckily,
deep.
I had enough. I had enough life experience to know that maybe there might be another possibility besides cut, burn, poison. And so, actually, getting scared is what I had to do. I had to get scared.
It got you to looking out of the direction.
So, actually, when I got scared, one of the first things I did is I cut out all sugar. I didn't cut out carbs and bread like I should have. Or pasta and pasta salad and meat.
Cut out the glucose, though.
I at least cut out the glucose. I think that's why I'm here today. Because I cut out the glucose in almost every form. And that wasn't easy. It took me eating a lot of stevia to
that's what I use. I use stevia and everything. I don't have sugar in my diet, so I'm not sick. I just will get sick if I do have a lot of sugar. Why? It's because I start getting overweight. Why? Because I start getting fat. Fat is a creature, and it's living off of sugar. So you stop eating sugar, and your creatures start to shrink up, and all of a sudden you start to see yourself again, like you. You're another person.
Yeah, it took a couple months, and I wasn't even craving sugar. The stevia was enough to keep that beast. I mean, I think the beast was beaten down enough that I was able just to be happy with the stevia. Although I was creeping in more and more carbs, which I think is
foods. Good organic chips, though, but they were organic.
Yeah. Organic garlic bread.
But it was organic.
Yeah, everything was organic in it. So
still all these processed. There's still processed carbs, guys. Cook food. Remember, if you're trying to regenerate yourself, you need plasma. Plasma. You get that from live food. You don't get that from cooked food. Cooked food's because it tastes good, remember things, it's emotional. Okay, there's hardly any nutritional in cooked food. You know what the nutrition is? Is in your emotions and in your mind. It's a good feeling food. You want to get healthy, you got to have live food. How you get it? Remember, live ferments. Okay, live food, you got to grow it in your garden. You got to have live food. So, yeah, and if you could go ahead and actually, just so you know, 2 seconds here, because this is really good research for people. Let's say that you have any sickness or disease, and I've known many people with big bucks do this. They hire a woman that's very healthy, that's a vegetarian, okay, that has a perfect diet. Because what they're going to do is they're going to drink the stem cells from this woman's breast milk, not refrigerated, fresh. And he paid 2 or 3 people, I think 3 people, 3 different women. And this was a guy named Ralph, I won't say his last name, and he was a billionaire. And he got the same thing, got sickness, okay, incurable cancer. And he says, you know what? He hired, remember, he's a billionaire, hired everybody to figure out what can I do. And one German doctor says this is the cure of cures, okay? And what they did was he got fresh breast milk and he cultured it. Didn't just drink it. He cultured it, but never went in the refrigerator. And he did put some microbes in there. I'm not sure what he put in, okay? But basically it's the same thing as what we could put in a lot of times to be able to make it so our gut wall flora, which control everything, basically start to work again. So he was drinking breast milk. So let's say you're sick and you put an ad in Craigslist and say, any wet nurses out there that want to go ahead and give me a quart of real breast milk? You're not going to drink it right now, but I don't want it refrigerated. I got to see your diet. I want to see you too. I want to make sure you're healthy because it's loaded full of stem cells. It's loaded full of that good stuff that makes that baby so it can actually neurogenerate, okay? So this is one of the things. You can do the same with raw goat's milk too. You got to get it fresh though, non such and such. So the milks and different things like that do make big positive. You just have to play with it. Okay. So anyway, it's just a little off track because everyone's going to try to figure out when you get sick. You're going to have to figure it out, guys. And there's many ways. Let me tell you, many. As you've noticed, you probably didn't do 90% of them.
There's so many things you can do. It's really overwhelming because you don't know if you're going to pick 10. You don't know which 10 to pick because there's maybe 100 you can pick from.
And they all take time and money.
They all take time and money.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I think really changed you is when we both started talking about the cancer as a gift because it really made us change our life incredibly.
Yes.
Really stick with it, really go with the...
And those aren't just words. We really saw it as a gift.
We really did.
No
that
joke.
was not just words. We embraced it.
Exactly.
Thanked for it. And,
same with my sicknesses. It made me learn.
Yeah.
It did. It just makes you learn. Why? Because you have to. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm doing the best I know how to do right now, and I'm not even sure what I'm doing, but at least I'm okay. But once you get sick, you're going to have to figure it out, backpedal. And if you do get confused, well, you should, is because there's 2 sides of the fence here. One that sort of wants to help you, and one doesn't want. It's not that it wants to. Remember, it wants to help you, but you got to help yourself. And then the other one, that side of the fence, is you got to help yourself. So one's going to try to, cut, burn, poison, give you the medications, whatever it is. They're going to give it to you. Remember, your sickness is because you did it to yourself, and you have to backpedal. You have to change your ways, just like these guys are doing, just like I did. Everybody has to. So now, since you have this diagnosis, you got the biopsy, I'm sure. What happened?
I did not get the biopsy.
Perfect, because you don't want to stab that thing.
I actually read something that the biopsy could be an issue.
Pisses everything off. Remember, if it's a parasite, what you're doing is you're causing some distress. And there are directives to certain parasites that say, if you're going to kill me, then I'm going to flower just like a tree does. My lychee trees do not make fruit unless they get 59 degrees for 3 weeks, because if not, they're not stressed enough to be able to want to spawn, so they don't die.
Yeah, I didn't sleep all night, and I asked the universe what I should do, and literally the day before I canceled the biopsy procedure.
Okay. And then tell me your story now, since, bring us up to date.
Okay, well,
you didn't do the chemo. You didn't do any of the Western approach. Because
I did the diagnostic stuff, but I did not do. I stopped short of the biopsy.
The triage, anything treatment wise. You didn't do any pharmaceuticals.
I had stopped all the pharmaceuticals.
Okay, I mean for treatment of that.
No.
Besides your head,
there really isn't. I don't know of any actual pill that you can take. This is all surgery.
I'm just asking questions just to see what someone's put you on, just to go ahead and see. Let's see if this will work.
No, they just wanted to cut it out immediately first. Then they want to start the other stuff. But
did you ask them about diet, or is there any other approach? What did they say?
I mentioned sugar, that I already stopped sugar, and they said that's fine. He didn't say that's the best thing you could do. Yeah. No, not really. No. He said that's fine.
Every oncologist's office has a big bowl of candy in it.
Everyone.
Yeah. Right at the
and the head oncologist looks like he's 8 months pregnant, like my mom's oncologist at UCLA. The head guy, and he's like he's 8 months pregnant. Okay, you want to see the size of his rope parasites, and why are most people sick? It's because of the parasites, not only the toxicity and so forth. So, sorry, keep going.
So and then, well, I was still running scared. Although I opened up enough space and time that I had the revelation that I was not going to do the traditional treatments, and so I thought, well, I got to do something. So I made an appointment at a place in West Palm Beach, Florida, called the Hippocrates Institute, run by Dr. Brian Clement. And so I made an appointment, and about 3 months later, I went there for a month.
Oh, nice.
Partly to get out of the winter, because it was hard to do the treatments and stay on the, because you can't lay in the sun in Michigan in the winter.
No, there's no sun.
And everything I read said, keep sun on your body.
Yeah.
Well, it's Michigan in the winter. You ain't getting any sun. You go to the tanning booth, but other than that. So I made an appointment for Florida. I went to Hippocrates for a month, and
well, that was a hefty bill.
yeah, but it was worth it. I didn't care.
Remember, when you get sick, guys, remember, money doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything.
It's nothing.
No,
especially if you had some. Look, you didn't have any. You'd have very little opportunities.
Yeah,
to try,
I'd have been a lot more worried. Yeah,
to try anything.
Exactly. I might have gone for the surgery or whatever.
Why? Because your insurance paid for it. It didn't cost you anything.
Everything.
You're gonna pay everything.
The insurance won't pay for nothing natural, and it'll pay for everything that's traditional. Because I had insurance. Because I had Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They would pay for everything.
Remember, it's not health insurance, guys. It's sick insurance.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you get sick, that's the only time you can use it. You can't use it for anything that's healthy, just so you know. So switch it around. Do you own sick insurance? Because if you want to use anything for health, it won't pay for it.
And actually, with the high deductibles most people have, you can't even get, it doesn't even pay for even regular treatment until you spend $6,000. So
exactly.
So I was prepared to, initially to pay the $6,000.
So when you went there, did you do any dry water fasting at all, or did you just do mostly? Because they do a lot of juice fasting, a lot of stuff.
I did. I did about 4 or 5 days of wheatgrass juice fasting and water.
Okay.
Yeah,
but no straight water by itself. Though.
No straight water. No.
Okay.
They really encourage you like 4 ounces of wheatgrass twice a day.
That's excellent to go ahead, and especially people starting to detox. Remember what he did, these guys did. They did dry water. This isn't alkaline water. This isn't mineralized water. It's dry. It's just plain H2O. We make it ourselves here. It's a steam distilled water, pure H2O. That's it. And so it's super hungry dry water, and it goes in and it really dries. That's why you don't get hungry, just so you know, guys. It goes in and it dries up everything that basically can feed, is because it's sort of like poison to them. It's sucking up all their acidic waste that's in your bloodstream. And you'll notice if you really pee in a cup and you haven't had any meals, you'll find out that your urine is really acid, because the distilled water is taking out tons of garbage. And if you look at the TDS meter and you look at your urine in there, you'll see it's a massive amount of particles coming out of you. So anyways, don't try starting dry water, fasting, just like he did. Regular water, purified water, and did wheatgrass, which is really good. Yeah. And then you went to what, like vegetable drinks?
Then I went to vegetable juices, yep, for a couple of days. Okay. And then I went to just, after that, after 2 days of juice, I went to just raw food. That's all they serve you there.
Okay. Do you eat a lot of fruits and stuff, a lot of sugars back, natural fruits?
No, they don't give you any fruit.
Nice.
No.
I don't know their program.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like them already.
They would not even give me any, they said no avocado even. Mm-hmm. It was day 12 before they'd give me an avocado.
Okay. Did you do any ferments or anything?
Yes. They encourage every meal to have ferments. At least 1 teaspoon. If you don't eat like ferments, scoop a teaspoon and throw it on your salad and mix it in.
Nice.
If you don't like it.
Okay.
But it was your diet there is about literally by weight about 40% sprouts, or literally sprouts.
Trying to get more live food.
Yeah.
Not only raw, but a little bit more. Still alive.
Yeah. I mean, some people literally just ate sprout. Like 5 kinds of sprout with a little bit of their house dressing, which is, well, you wouldn't like it, but it's garlic. They really push the garlic there.
Yeah, they think garlic's good for them.
Yeah,
and it is for if you want to use it as a sickness, but not as a normal daily maintenance thing. It makes your brain stupid, and plus it makes you stink.
Yeah, it does make you stink. Well, we all stink though, so nobody noticed each other stinking.
No, exactly. If everybody eats garlic's cool, but if everybody eats it and one person doesn't, everybody goes, what are you looking at? Because you guys stink.
Yeah.
Do we stink?
No, not a bit. I don't
we haven't had garlic lately.
No, these guys, once you do this fast like this, especially once you get over 7 days, you should stop stinking. And if you start stinking again, it's because you got more sulfone hydroxylone in you. And that's what's in garlic. That's what's in white onions and green onions. Have all the purple onions you want. They don't have it. Okay? But white onions, green onions, and garlic will make you stink. Not only that, they'll make you feel tired and sort of dumb, stupid. But it does clean the blood.
I think there's truth to that, because when I eat garlic, my thinking is not top notch.
Yeah. And you're tired, you want to take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, you're killing yourself the next morning, from your breath to your urine to your feces, and you can smell the stuff coming through your skin, which is good if you want to do like a treatment, like for therapy.
Yeah, I got in the car with my sister when I was at the Hippocrates, because she happens to live in West Palm Beach, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, roll the window down, your breath, your whole body."
See?
It smells like garlic. Mm-hmm. So then, a month at Hippocrates, I was flying high. I thought, well, I got this thing licked. I'm going to go home and I'm going to continue to eat like this. And I'm not going to lay in the sun, but I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to lay in front of the ultraviolet sun lamp that I bought. But I thought, well, I got it licked. It's I got this done.
You're on your way.
I'm on my way. It's over.
Benefit.
I felt 100%.
But you felt pretty darn good. What was the size of your?
It actually had shrunk somewhat. Okay. It was probably, I would say, about 10-15% smaller. Not gone, but a little bit smaller. Okay. I thought, well, I got this thing.
So the story must get better. So
he hadn't embraced it yet. He still thought he beat it. He hadn't embraced it.
Okay. I had not embraced it. Yeah, I had not been broken yet.
He went back to eating.
Yeah, very short amount of time. Yeah. I went back to all my old ways, staying up late, not getting my sleep. Back to energy drinks. Like, it started out with one energy drink every other day, then an energy drink every day. Oh, it's just one. It's sugar-free, no problem.
Aspartame, sucralose, all that other stuff in it, though.
No, it had stevia, but it was loaded with tartric acid, citric acid, every kind of acid you can imagine.
Caffeine, too.
And it was filled with, it was very acidic.
Very acidic.
And not to mention that, but it was depleting my adrenals to the point where my stress level went from being okay to being through the rough. Which caused all kinds of relationship problems.
But you said you were trained. And this is, don't you be doing this going home now. You already learned your lesson once.
Well, hopefully I have learned my lesson.
Okay, both you guys. Okay, because this is what happens to people is they fall back in their own ways. Is because sometimes the people you're living around pull you back in.
They do.
Okay.
Well, and he works in a health food store where they serve food, and the chefs are serving food to him all day. Taste this, yeah.
And as, everybody that's been to a health food store, that it's full of junk food. I mean, let's be honest.
It is.
You can choose healthy stuff, but if you want junk, the place is filled with it.
Take out the wheat, corn, and soy, and all the bad packaging they have there, and you got left. 80% of the stores out of there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the deli, there's junk. Think stuff's full of sugar, full of.
But it's from a health food store.
Right, I know. It's organic. You'll have organic death.
But you work there. You notice that people walk in there, for some reason, at a health food store, but I walk into Whole Foods and all these places, and I see more sick people in this place than actually healthy people. For some reason, a lot of sick people think going to a health food store, for some reason, just by eating that food, you're going to give it. It goes deep, way deeper than that, guys.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of even the snacks have hidden MSG, which sugar and glutamines will feed cancer.
You bet.
Like, I mean, you can give up the sugar, but if you don't stop the glutamine and different
cortisol, stress,
stress,
take the poisons out that actually let remember, once you keep on accumulating poison, that means that your parasite creature load can increase with the toxicity. Okay, and as you gain more toxicity, that creature load increases also. So body fat's a lot of. Remember, both these people actually lost a massive amount of weight. Don't you think that there's a lot of toxicity? Remember, you can't have body fat unless you have toxicity. It's a live creature. So now you're at this you went back to your old ways, whatever way it happened, you got conned back into it.
Yes. And then everything except for sugar. I didn't go back to sugar.
Okay.
So I was doing more carbs and more refined carbs, which is not good, which converts to sugar very quickly in the body. Mm-hmm. But I didn't go to sugar, but still this thing started enlarging again.
I was gonna say, so it started up again.
Started going, which of course scared the hell out of me.
Did you change your diet again or not?
Yes, I did. I did. I got serious again.
Under fear. Yeah. Fear does move people well.
Unfortunately, that took several months of wasted months. So, to learn from my experience and do not do that. Change your diet and force the change. Do not backpedal at all.
And
do the changes slowly and small changes, but to be consistent and just move forward with it and do not backpedal at all.
Listen from wisdom here, okay? He's not just telling you something. He knows this for true. And then actually trying to dislodge again, what you did was you just learned. Mm-hmm. It was the best thing. If you do it again, ignorance is one thing. You know now if you do it again, that would be pretty stupid. Why? Because you've disconnected everybody, and there's no reason to give anybody in your body more power.
If I go back to it now, then I really am asking for whatever happens. You know what I mean?
And each time it comes back, remember, it does have more power. If you don't think so, you're wrong. That's why when people get the cancer first and they do the chemo and everything, and then all of a sudden they get a second cancer. But this one's runaway. Oh, we can't stop that one. This one's a
And now your immune system is much more weakened. So
it's probably broken down. Yeah. You didn't even change your diet when you got all this sickness, guys. So, okay, so now all of a sudden, bring us to the current time frame.
Well, yeah, so this is, so I got scared again and started thinking about coming here. And
we were juicing and we were wheatgrassing and we were trying to help each other stay, I was staying clear, but he was...
Yeah, you need a companion.
He was having trouble.
Stay on track.
I was picking at him.
Yeah, you need a companion to stay on track. Yeah. Everybody does.
And unfortunately, for somebody like me, if I'm not scared, I ain't on the program. So I've got to stay a little scared. Because the minute I'm not scared, I'm slowly creeping back into the shadows. Instead of staying in the sunshine, the shadows pull me back in, and pretty much I'm in the darkness again.
The spell is strong.
The spell is very strong.
Why do people eat meat once they stop eating it? Remember, once you really disconnect from these parasites, you couldn't eat meat if you wanted to. It's like the morgue. Okay, I finally found out to myself, and I used to eat 2 pounds of meat a day. Once I lost these parasites, and it took many years, okay, and I tried killing them, and I tried to do a lot of stuff. That's why I don't do what I used to do, is because I found better, easier ways to do it. But I would walk by, even though I wasn't eating any meat, and I'd smell charbroiled whatever, and I'd start salivating, okay? Salivate, because they were still in me. Okay, and all I had to do is have one more piece. It's like having a Dorito chip full of MSG. You got to have another one. And another one. Remember, there's a strong spell.
You got to have another one.
If you activate it. So don't activate it, guys. Remember, one shot of heroin, you think you're strong? Then let's both of us take anybody and tie them down and give them one shot of heroin about every 6 hours for about 3 days. You know what? We won't have to tie you down anymore, because on the 4th day, you're going to knock on our door and say, can I have my shot? The spell is strong.
And that's true of sugar and energy drinks and
processed foods.
Processed food, and I know
laziness.
People say coffee's okay. I don't believe it.
No.
1 cup leads to another cup for most people. No. Very few people can have one or a cup of coffee, 1 cup of coffee a day. If you can, then maybe it's fine. But
then you got to look at coffee. Coffee is insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. Okay, guys, coffee. I know I sell coffee. Okay, I grow it. They places Roundup City. Okay, they spray everything because it gets black mold and stuff on there. They have to spray it with fungicides. You wouldn't believe it. So do not have coffee that's non-organic.
Yeah. Don't. Or I think if you have a health challenge, you should try to give it up.
Completely. Go to Yerba Mate and get it. I use my tea, like right here. I use a pH of, well, actually it's not my tea. I have my tea, well, I think it's somewhere around here. Oh, here it is. My tea in here, when I made this morning, this is Yerba Mate with bamboo, silica, chia seeds, psyllium powder, okay? The best thing is, though, I don't want to have the acid in the tea. So what do I use? I have my alkaline water machine, and I use a pH of 10.5 to brew the water. And I take all the acid out of there, okay? And that's one of the best ways to be able to make, same with your coffee, is use a high pH water to make your coffee, to at least take some of the acidity out. And then don't add sugar to it, add a couple drops of stevia, okay? Yeah. Watch out for those coconut milks and all those fake ones. Unsweetened, okay? Just you can use ghee butter, coconut oil, or you can even use raw unpasteurized cream. It's really good too. Remember, all these oils are good for you. They just are. It's all transitional. Once you get healthy, wealthy, happy, and wise, then figure out another layer. But you do need the correct oils. And if you have stopped eating meat, you better put in some superior fuels, hemp seeds, some different brown rice protein, different types of protein, a lot of different foods that contain heirloom foods, that contain real food. Okay, look at Goldie berries is a fruit, but it hardly has any sugar. It's full of vitamin C and it has 14% protein. Chlorella, blue-green algae, spirulina, 50% protein. Okay, so hemp seeds. Okay, chia seeds. All these have massive amounts of protein. So I don't want to hear about it. I need more protein. Eggs. Okay, you have it all. So, and if you just go and take the meat off, your parasites are they're gonna make you get so dysfunctional. And they're gonna make you go back to book because you're gonna get weak. Like you do. You get weak and sick, if you do feel weak and sick, so what I tell people is to drink a little creatine in between. Give yourself a boost. And if you're over 40 years old, you should be taking some really good ubiquinol. Okay, I take, myself, personally, I'm 56, I take 600 milligrams a day. Okay, magical. But make sure that you don't, I only buy the one from Japan. It's the only one I know that works. It's the one they did the studies with, and all the rest of the ones, I wouldn't trust any of them.
The Kanika.
You got, listen to this guy.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to you. I'm watching these videos. So yeah.
Okay, here we go. Back to your.
Yeah, well, I will say, I did that and went back to my old ways, and it started growing again. I got scared and changed to stop the growth right away. That immediately stopped it from growing any further. And I will say that the fasting here has really turned the corner on it, and it does seem to be waning now again. Like it seems to be dying.
It looked angry the other day when I saw it. It looked different. Now all of a sudden it looks like you got more. Just show it. Remember, guys, what would you do if you had this on your breast right now? Remember, you'd go to the doctor. Number one, you'd be scared out of your mind, and you'd get surgery. But not only that, you'd be getting chemo. You'd be on a variety. I used to work in the hospital. My dad ran 25 of them. Okay, you'd be getting a variety of different things. That would be, the Western ways of doing it. So,
and the whole time they'd be telling you don't have to make any other changes.
Zero.
So,
yeah,
it's.
Now I'm not bagging on Western. Look, I worked in the emergency for 5 years, okay? That place will save your life, saved mine a few times. But the curative part, I'm not so sure about, okay? In fact, I'm really not sure about it at all, it's being sure. So you got to really put yourself into your own, your own doctor layer and really investigate, okay? Don't just believe. Remember, be discretional. That means looking at the good, the bad. There's lots of shills on the internet. There's lots of good documentaries. And there's lots of good people out there, okay, that you can get little pieces from. And it is. It's going to take you years, guys, just for your mind to know that you're not doing anything wrong right now, and everything you're doing is living more vital, so you're not missing anything.
No, I literally, forget about the lump. As I made the changes, my cardiovascular system improved. Like I couldn't run for more than maybe 3 or 4 minutes and be out of breath. But now I can run for 20 minutes without stopping. I could never do that before.
His parasites don't want any oxygen in his body. Remember, all people that are sick have low oxygen. Okay, that's one of the pieces. Remember, if anybody's sick, you should be taking 5,000 to 10,000 units of vitamin D3 every day. Good one. Every day. Because if not, you can't get certain things that your liver produces, this thing called GCMF. It's not going to make it. You need D3. You need to get out in the sun. And you need to get sun on your private parts in every place that needs to get reinformed with new information from the sun. And as you dry yourself out like these guys have done, they've made space so they can now add some new, not only new things in their lifestyle, which is reasonable and logical, but they can add some new liquid. Remember, it's not the food that's going to make you better. It's the liquids that you put in. And if you can really learn, when you guys go back, remember, if you can, try to hang with the once-a-day meal and really make you humble. You have, a variety of stuff at home. Don't snack. Have liquids, okay? You can have your breakfast tea. Look at all that stuff in there, okay? You can have yourself, if you have yourself a few walnuts with some salt on it. Maybe have 100 chlorella pills, and I use the 50-50, the chlorella spirulina, with a little bit of salt. And eat 100 of those when you're nibbling and you feel hungry. That green is going to make your poop not only turn green, but it's going to really heal your stomach, because that's what green does. Green heals. Remember, green's life. So put a lot of super greens. Besides cooked foods, remember, is only for your emotions, and it's a sedative every time you eat it. As you notice, raw food don't make you tired. No. Big bowl of spaghetti, I need to go take a nap. I'm done.
Yeah, meat and carbs. So
okay, we're gonna start part 2. We'll continue with a little bit of this too. These are this is what you guys need to see. Okay, you got people that are actually going beyond. Okay, they're not bad people. Why? It's because they went beyond the regular medical treatment. Actually, they're logical. Okay. And reasonable. Why? It's because they're actually looking to see not how they got sick, but they know that previously all the things they do was absolutely backwards. Okay, so it does take time to go ahead and actually reformat your body, because you got to detox it a little at a time. If not, you get the symptoms like Shanti got. You're going to throw up, you get sick, you don't want to do it. You got to go back to eating meat. Why? Because you can't even crawl out of bed. Okay, so it is slow. You're going to have to, go on things, experiment. You're going to have to go back and forth. That's why, like I said, I put together Earther Academy so you guys can get some variety, some different ideas. Look, I don't know it all. Let me tell you. At my level, I'm just beginning. I'm in preschool. So I do have a lot to share, though, and people can go ahead and learn and twist it themselves. Bend it around whatever way you want to. You don't have to follow anything I'm showing you guys, okay? But just put it into your sort of like Spock. You're non-emotional right now, okay? You need some Vulcan, okay? You need to have reasonable and logical, okay? And see what other people have done that have had to make that jump, okay? From emotional, okay, to logical. And so that's what you guys did. Okay, emotional would mean you would have already got surgery, and who knows, both of you guys. Okay, emotional. But when you're logical, you have to step back and really see, if I'm going to do this, is this going to cure me? Or is it just going to be another Band-Aid? Okay? So you're lucky that millions of people have died before you guys to be able to make the truth about cancer and all these different things that actually have been hidden so much, okay, about sickness, power, sustainability, just food, GMOs, vaccines. Remember, it's the revealing, guys. And there's tons of documentaries out there. Tons. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch things, and you're going to have to go ahead and have discretion, and then you're going to have to furtherly investigate. Don't just believe it. And
try for you. Try variations of it. That's what helped me. It's like I would
engage.
Yeah.
Just start. Baby steps. Remember, it's a 1,000-mile journey, guys, whether you like it or not. It's 1,000 miles to mess yourself up, and it's 1,000 miles to go ahead and actually become more. Okay, it doesn't stop. And so you just slowly either fall apart, devolution, call it, you fall apart. It's not evolution. Or you slowly backpedal so you can actually get sort of neutral and start to go ahead and rebuild and go the other way, which you know at this time is a way better way. You still don't know if it's the right way until you do it, but you know it's a way better way. And look at the other people that have already gone this way, okay, and it's the right way. Say it whatever way you want to say it. Okay, if you're eating meat, you're getting the typical information that most people have in their minds, a 13-year grade of discretion. Not knowledge, discretion. 13-year-old discretionary minds. Why? It's because we're not as smart as you think we are. Remember, there's 100 million diabetics. Okay, cancer, 1 out of 2 people are going to get it. 50 million people on Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, all different types of antidepressants. Okay, the list goes on. Obesity. Just look at the sickness. Okay, so what does it mean? We all need to change our ways. So learn from these pioneers. These guys are pioneers. Not only that, pretty darn courageous to come up to Hawaii, not to land in the sun, but you did, but not to go on a cruise or anything else. You tortured yourself so you could love yourself. Wow, what a concept.
You got to do it. The Hawaii's the place to do it.
And we've had, like I said, we've had several different doctors here with different programs. This is the best program we've ever put together because it has the integrative IV therapies. Okay, you're doing all these integrative therapies, colon hydrotherapy, washing things out, and if you can handle it, you want to do the mouth enema too. Okay, which is a solution that you can now clean the intestinal tract in the upper part, the small intestine, because that's where the creatures live. They don't live in your colon. No. People get you need to wash the colon out so the sewage pit can let out some of the creatures that live 30 feet above that. The colon, remember everyone who does the colonoscopy? Oh, great, you're looking great in there, man. Clean as a whistle. No. Only if you could see a little further up past the ileocecal valve, and then you'd say, whoa, you got some snakes in there. Yeah, everybody does. And remember those snakes? They do poop inside the body. And this is what gives rise to a lot of the dysfunction that we get. And however it comes out, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, whatever, no, it's dysfunction. It's disease. And it shows itself in the area that's most susceptible. That's it. It's real simple. Okay, one last word before I, cut off. Okay, since we're talking cancer, do watch The Truth About Cancer. It's an excellent, titled, a beautiful job. I actually even sent him a letter. I wanted to see if he wanted to come up here for free. Okay, for everything paid, even his plane flight. Why? Because I want him to use his connection now to be able to show other doctors can just follow these simple protocols. And there's many more to add, guys. But this protocol works. It works. And all you have to do is, you know how it works? The person has to volunteer to want to do it. That's when it works. If I've had people sent here because their mom sent them because they're drug addicts, whatever, I don't want to see those people. You either come here is because you want to. You're either going to change your life is because you not need to, is because now you have to. Okay, but it's better if you want to. It's just more fun. When you have to, like you said, it's scary. So we're going to do part 2 now, because we've been in here a long time, and this is sort of a little longer than usually. I like to get softer before we go ahead and soak. We're going to take a break just for a sec, just to fill our water. Yeah. As you can see, she's been a good girl. There's no water, and she's got her crystals in there, and I'm on reserve. Okay, so part 2, what we're going to do is these guys have softened themselves up. I don't like working on people unless they've been here at least 10 days, 12. They got to soften up. They got to bruise themselves first. They got to go ahead, before I can help them at all, they got to go ahead and start these protocols on themselves and know that there's a definite softening procedure to go ahead and soften it up. So we're going to use today, we're going to see if we can grab out as much toxicity that the pores will let out. And it's perfect now, because we've been in here now, I set it on 100, we've been in here, about an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, wow, this is pretty good. Okay, and now look she's been sweating up and she's sort of dry on water. That's not smart right now, because we need to put water in our bodies. Okay, sweating, and you can see I'm getting dry, still river sweating. Okay, so part 2, like I said, each of the people we're going to do a little different. This will be on Earther Academy. I don't show any protocols, practices, or these principles like this that have to do with therapy on the public YouTube. But we probably have about 50 in the sauna videos. And it's to be able to show older, younger, sick, young, it doesn't matter. There's all different layers from 15-year-old people. Look at the poisons that come out of the 15-year-old. And look at the stuff that doesn't come out of the 60-year-old, because they're plugged. Okay, so enjoy your new life, which is actually just living smarter. That's it. It's enjoy. And if you're not enjoying your life right now, it means most likely you may need to look into your life, because it's not as smart as you think. If you're living in misery, that may not be too good for you, because just like you, Eric, you got stress and you got a lot of stuff, so none of that. And if you have to move, then move.
Yeah, you gotta do whatever you gotta do. You gotta make the change.
And you know what? When you go back, you may have the power in your mind, just like Shanti does. You may want to change your location, just because you're not going to live here forever. How long you lived in Michigan?
My whole life.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to change it up. It was the best thing I ever did was move from California to Hawaii. Because it gave me my life back again. And my dad did the same with us and moved the whole family from Canada to California. And his dad did the same thing, from the whole family from Malta to Canada. So I just made a jump, and it's the best thing I ever did. But it did, let me tell you, just like fixing yourself, healing yourself, doing anything. There's going to be some turbulence, guys, in everything you do that's new, that's different than what you've done. Okay, I'm getting dizzy.
Hey!
Okay, let's do the fingers of the chakras. You gotta bend your head there. We'll all get in there. La 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 la. Okay, there we go.
Important reminder: all information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, All persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earth Shift Live radio talk show or therein.